Hello everyone, welcome to another Tech Talk session. So today we are going to discuss about Redux Toolkit, and I'm Abhishek Seni, front-end engineer here at Squareboat. So let's get started. So these are the topics today we are going to discuss. First one is what is Redux. So we are not going to discuss about Redux very deeply. We will just see an overview of Redux because it is important for Redux Toolkit. Okay. So next one we will go what is the requirement of Redux or Redux Toolkit in development. Third one, what are the actual problems? We already have Redux. Then what is the need of Redux Toolkit? So what are the problems that Redux Toolkit resolves? Then we will come to our main topic, what is Redux Toolkit. We will see its setup and a practical code example as well. Then we will have a Q&A session. Okay. So let's get started. So first one is what is Redux? So Redux is basically a state management library for all type of JavaScript types. Most of the developers thinks that it is a React specific library. No, it is a state management library for all types of JavaScript type. Either the app is in React, either the app is in Vue or Angular, whatever it is. So Redux can be used with any type of JavaScript app. Okay, but it provides a centralized store where you can store your data and get it at any point of time in any of your component in your code. Okay, so what are the key principles of Redux? So first one is the single source of truth. It has only one single store from where you will fetch the values or store the values. Second one is the states that are stored in the store are immutable and read only. They will be updated using only the reducers. Okay. So the third one is changes in the states are made using these pure functions, and these pure functions in Redux are known as reducers. Okay. So what is the basically analogy? You can think of Redux as a brain of your app that stores the memory and reacts when you give the instructions. Okay. Next one is why we need Redux or Redux Toolkit in our apps. Okay. So basically there are two main concepts in programming which most of the developers face are prop drilling and lifting state up. So these are the problems which are resolved by Redux or Redux Toolkit. Let's just see what are these. So this is suppose this is a e-commerce website. Okay, so this is our main page. Now this is our single product page, and every one of you must know that on the single product page we have a add to cart button. Okay, so here I have my cart. Okay, now I have clicked the add to cart button on here, right? But now the data of this particular product, I need this data inside this cart because I have to update the cart data. I have to calculate the cart price and all the details of that particular product. I need those in that cart. Okay, so if you don't have Redux, then what will be the approach for this? You will first pass the data to its parent. Okay, then this component will pass data to its parent, right? And then this will pass data to the cart. So as you can see, this is a whole very hectic process, right? So the process of sending the data from child to parent is lifting the state up. Okay, and the process of sending the data from parent to child is the prop drilling. So these are the concepts that are resolved by Redux Toolkit or Redux. So how basically they provide, like this is the Redux store of your app. Now wherever you go, like you have clicked the button here. After clicking the button, you can store the data inside this store, and once the data is stored, you can fetch anywhere in your app here, anywhere in any of the component right here. Okay, so these are the problems that are resolved by Redux or Redux Toolkit. So now you know that we already have Redux. Then what is the need of Redux Toolkit? So let's discuss about this. So the classic Redux has some problems associated with it. What are those problems? Like you have to write too much boilerplate code, like you have to configure store, then you have to write your own middlewares, own reducers file and actions as well. So there are a lot of files you have to create for the first setup, which is like hectic for beginner or whatever developer. So this is the first drawback where Redux fails. And second one, the state updates. Basically in Redux, when you update the state, you have to like maintain the previous state of that particular state. Like if you can see here, like this. Here's a state, right? This is our initial state, right? So now I have to update this state. What I have to do first, I have to copy the whole previous state, right? You like this. Here I am copying the whole previous state. Now I have to only update these to-dos, only these to-dos of this list. So what I will do, I will copy whole state, then inside the to-dos key, I will then again copy the previous values of that to-dos. Like these 3 values are already in that. So I will first copy all those, and then whatever the payload is coming, I will update that. So this is state update is really hectic in the classic Redux as well. So these are some problems that are associated with the Redux Toolkit, Redux and resolved by Redux. And one more is that you have to manually integrate the middlewares or dev tools and combine reducers in a single file in the classic Redux. So you don't have to do this much work in Redux Toolkit. That is why Redux Toolkit is made. So next one, what is Redux Toolkit? So Redux Toolkit nowadays is an official and opinionated toolset for Redux. Okay, this is the suggested, the modern and suggested way suggested by Redux developers itself, that you can use this instead of Redux. So it is not a new library, it is built on Redux itself, right? But with some extra utilities like createSlice. What createSlice do? createSlice basically generates reducers plus actions. As you have seen in the last slide, I was told you that you have to create reducers and actions in different files. Now you don't need to do that. The createSlice will automatically do that for you. Okay. Now configureStore. configureStore is used to configure your store or make your store, and it provides you the default setup for DevTools and middlewares. Okay, but in Redux you have to manually set up the DevTools or middlewares. Now this is createAsyncThunk. This is used for asynchronous functions when you want to call an API or something like this. So you can use createAsyncThunk. As you can see here, middleware automatically provides Redux Toolkit automatically provides middleware. So behind the scenes, it uses Redux Thunk as middleware. Okay, so that is why createAsyncThunk. So whenever you want to call an API or do a asynchronous task, you can use createAsyncThunk, and it uses Immer for immutable updates. So what is Immer now? Immer is a very small package which is basically used to make your immutable states update seems like mutable. Like the state behind the scenes will stay immutable, but when you are updating that state on your side, it will seems like it is mutable. Okay, so this is a small package used. So Redux Toolkit is none other than Redux 2.0, modern, simple and less boilerplate. One more thing I forgot is the Redux architecture, Redux Toolkit architecture. So this is like this is our UI part. Okay, so first step is like action will be dispatched from UI, and the action will goes to the store. Now store only has a pointer to its reducer. That store has nothing, just a pointer to its reducer. The action will come, it will have a pointer to reducer. What it will do, it will pass this particular action to the reducer. Reducer will do the internal task and process and calculate the value and pass the updated value to the store again. Then store will pass the value to the UI. This is the whole architecture. You can also compare this with the real-time example. You can consider this store as a clothes store owner, where customer approaches to buy clothes of a particular brand which are at that time not available on the shop. Then what will that shop owner do? He will call the brand, and brand, after internal processing, will update the stock of the clothes and pass the new stock to the store owner. Then store owner will distribute the new stock to the customers. So you can compare it with that store owner as well. So this is the whole architecture of Redux Toolkit. So this is the Redux Toolkit setup. So let's get started. So this is a project I have already created, and inside this project, if I show you, here, so here it is already implemented counter. So but it is implemented for now, it is implemented using the state provided by React itself. Okay, so now we are going to do this thing, the counter thing, using Redux Toolkit. Okay, so the first step, is to install the packages. Okay, so now you can see that we have talked about Redux Toolkit till now. Then what is this React Redux package and why we need to install this, right? So Redux Toolkit, we have discussed about it, and React Redux. In the first slide, I have told you that Redux is a library used by all types of JavaScript apps, right? So now you need to attach your store with your app. So React Redux provides that functionality. It will connect your app with the store so that you can use the Redux functionalities. Okay, so let's first install these libraries. So libraries are installed, and now the second step is to configure our store. To create the store, I will go in the src directory, and here I will create a folder named Redux, and inside here I will create a file named store.js. Okay, and here I will configure my store. So how will I configure? So as you can see, the configure store is coming from Redux Toolkit. So this will create our store, and what it will take? It will take only the pointer to reducers. Like it will point to the reducers. We will define reducers in different file. We'll come to that as well. But this is our store configuration for now. The next step, we will wrap our app with this store. So how we will wrap? We will go to our main file, and here I will use provider. So as you can see, I have imported provider from React Redux. As I have said that we require React Redux to connect our store with our app. So here we will require that thing. So provider is provided by React Redux to connect our app with the store. Okay, so here we have connected, but we have to pass the store. The store we have created right now. Okay, so store, we have configured the store and we have wrapped our app with the store. Okay, so next we will create the slices. Slices are basically the main logic functions for a particular feature. So here we are creating a counter feature, right? So all the logic for that particular counter feature will be written inside that particular slice. So how we are going to create slice? Let's see. Inside this Redux folder, I will create another folder named slices. Okay, so inside this slices folder, I can create multiple slices corresponding to my feature, what feature I am creating. So like we are creating right now the counter feature. So I will create here a file named counterslice.js. Okay. In the same way, you can create multiple slices. If you are creating some other feature, you can create the file with that same name and use that in your store. Okay, so inside this here, first I will define the initial state. Okay, so what will be the initial state? It will be the initial state. Initially our count will be 0. Okay, so this is our initial state. Okay, so remember this createSlice function I have talked about in the previous slides. So it will take a object. So the first value will be name. So this name will be reflect in the dev tools. Whatever the name you will give here, it will be reflected in the dev tools. So I will give here counter. Okay, and then it will take initial state, that what will be the initial state of our feature or our. So initial state I have already created, initial state I have passed. Now the reducers will be defined. Okay, so here I will define the reducers, right? So first reducer is like we are incrementing the count. Okay, so increment count, this state is the previous state. Like what is the previous state before we are updating? Like this points to the previous state. Okay, and now I am going to update this. How? State dot value. Okay, as simple as you can see. There is nothing like I have shown you for the Redux, like you don't have to do dot state to copy the previous state or anything, and you don't need to destructure. You can directly do this thing. This is handled by immer inside Redux Toolkit. Okay, so this is our first reducer. You can create multiple inside here, like this is increment. Another I can made decrement. Okay, so you can create here as many functions as you want. These functions will be considered as your reducers. These are the functions which are responsible for the state updates in the store. Okay, so now I will export these functions from here. Okay, so how we will export this? So the first one is increment. Okay, second one is decrement. From where I will actions. Now you guys must be saying that where these actions coming from. I haven't defined any actions here. You cannot, you are, none of you can see actions in this whole file. Then where these actions are coming from, and this file is not giving any errors. So inside the slide of the createSlice function, I have told you that it generates reducers and actions in one go. So you can just do this thing, and these will be considered as your actions and reducers. Okay, so these are actions. I am exporting these actions. Now I will export the reducer. Okay, so these are the two functionalities provided by this createSlice function by default. You don't have to create. So, but in Redux, in the classic Redux, you have to define these things on your own in different files. So these are some things that are resolved by Redux Toolkit, which are hectic to handle in Redux. Okay, so we have done this. We have created the slice. Now we have to add this slice to the store. Okay, so we have created the slice. This is our store. Now here this store will take reducers. Now I have to, here the reducer which is exported from here, I will point it to here inside our store. Okay, okay, so we have done this much task, created the slice and added them to the store. Okay, now we will use these functions, the useSelector and useDispatch. What useSelector will be used for? useSelector will be used to select the value from the store or fetch the value from the store, and dispatch is used to dispatch the action from frontend to update the state in the store. Okay, so let's come to this point now. In our App.js, let's just comment this code and use the newly created. So first we will use useSelector. Now you can see useSelector is also coming from React Redux. So this is one more importance of React Redux. Okay, because it connects our store with the app. Also it provides to fetch and update the data inside the store using useSelector and useDispatch. Okay, so useSelector, here I have the previous state and I will get the value state dot counter dot value. Okay, so this will be the counter value, our counter value. Now we have to dispatch the actions. So for that we will use the useDispatch. Again, useDispatch is also coming from React Redux. Okay, so how we will dispatch the actions now? Inside this I will use dispatch here, and what action I have to dispatch? Actions are created here. These are our actions. I will dispatch these actions on click to this function here. Okay, so how? First I will import those actions here, like okay, so instead of doing this I will just do this. Okay, So incrementation must be done here. So if I go to the app, just a second. So previously we are doing the same thing with useState, but now this same thing is done using the Redux Toolkit. So we have created one more action there, decrement. So we can use that as well here using another button, like I have created this, and okay. So for now both the values will be increased because both of these buttons pointing to the same value. Okay, if I click on this, it will decrease the value, and if I click on this, it will increase the value of the same pointer. Okay, so in this way you can use Redux Toolkit. So that's all for today, and